In order for this federal government takes deliberate move to check corruption, sets up committee to review Public Procurement Act.
All the projects that we said will be stepped down does not mean that they are going to be thrown away. What council decision is that we bring them all, look at them again.
Ahead of national headcount, Nigerian government inaugurates Census National Security and Logistic Committee.
NDLEA top staff says no hiding place for drug traffickers in Nigeria.
We cannot rest on our oars until all the objectives of our mandate are fully achieved.
And on Good Morning Nigeria today, we shall examine livestock reforms.
All right, nation building, peaceful coexistence is a process, not a destination. And it means that it requires agreeable implementation for parties involved to abide by. And just like Ronald Reagan buttressed in his words, peace is not the absence of conflict, but the ability to handle conflicts by peaceful means. End of quote. Invariably, in the absence of this agreement, that's the peaceful agreement, chaos ensues, and of course, conflict become inevitable.
Absolutely, Claire. And you know, a nation without peace is a nation headed for chaos, just like I said, and absolutely. A clear example is data from the International Center for Investigative Reporting, indicating that between January and October 2023, thousands of people were killed in violent attacks and conflicts across the country. Although these figures might be in contention for uncertain, but more than ever before, the harsh reality of our situation underscores the issues of conflict in Nigeria, which has become endemic, particularly farmers-herders clashes.
All right, that's quite sad. And the issue of farmer-herders clashes in Nigeria, which was before now seen as regional conflict, is taken another dimension, and many people are raising eyebrows, and of course reactions from different quarters. Now, the hitherto confined conflict has reportedly gone beyond the borders of many West African countries.
Indeed, and very true, Claire. It is a struggle of supremacy, people say, between herders and farmers in Nigeria over farmland and pasture. The issue is regarded by some analysts as a serious and escalating conflict, registering huge casualties and raising tensions. Some believe the conflicts have been fueled by environmental challenges, climate change, cultural differences and resources, and also political polarization.
Absolutely, and for many years, drought, desertification, particularly in the north, have forced many pastoralist herdsmen to, seek grazing lands further south. And that is also resulting in competition over resources. Of course, I should add limited resources and clashes with settled farmers. Unfortunately, the impact is felt significantly with loss of lives, livelihoods, food insecurity, proliferation of small arms and light weapons, displacement of vulnerable groups. Most especially, women and children are mostly impacted,
Yes.
by all of the
They bear the brunt
conflicts.
of conflicts. In a conflict situation, the women and children are in more danger because they are vulnerable.
Yes.
And just last year, the House of Representatives had an interactive session on the recurrent annual clashes with incidents across some parts of the country. And the resolve was to take a critical look at the causes, nature, dimensions, actors, and of course, impacts.
All right, let's also fast forward to July this year. Of course, that's a few days ago. And action, they say, speak louder than words. And that is the fact that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not just taking of course, will not take any more chances as inaugurated a presidential committee on implementation of livestock reforms to address obstacles to agricultural productivity and, of course, open up new opportunities for farmers and herders and distributors in the livestock farming value chain. And Jume, if you recall, last year there was a national conference on livestock, which was held here in Abuja. It was at the instance of the former Kano State Governor, Ganduje, and that was the beginning of this new initiative taken by President Ahmed Tinubu, and that conference specifically came up with reports on what to do, not just to expand or to give viability to this livestock industry, but also to address other security measures.
That was after, so many brouhaha about the Ruga, settlement and all that. And he named the Renewed Hope Livestock Reform Implementation Committee. It is now chaired by President himself and co-chaired by Professor Attairu Jega. Remember him, former INEC President. President Tinubu had also pronounced the creation of a ministry to be known as Federal Ministry of Livestock Development. Now, what are the expected reforms in the livestock development? What should be the model operandi for the committee to avoid rhetorics and put its best foot forward in promoting agricultural productivity and enhancing livestock development?
The way in the academics, when we talk about peace and conflict, some people will tell you that man is naturally conflictual, which means that his whole being is driven by conflict. But of course, there is the other school of thought that will tell you that no, man is not naturally altogether conflictual. There is the other side of man, which loves for peace. Yes. So if you give man a chance, he's capable of rational thoughts, and that's what we should be looking at. Man is capable, of rational thought. So man is capable of addressing those things that drive conflict. And indeed, there are so many other questions, obvious questions, and at the same time, palpable excitement of what has, been thrown up to us. But with the introduction of the Ministry of Livestock Development, it brings the total number of ministries to 47. Mind you, it hasn't come on board yet. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has said, okay, this reform, the report of the reform, is recommending creation of this ministry.
Yes, from conversations across the country, this is the first time an initiative like this is wholeheartedly, accepted by everybody. The Ruga controversy was there and so many things, but I believe Nigerians now understand that these farmer-herder clashes should come to an end.
Everyone wanted to come to an end. Everyone wanted, and like President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said, with the caliber of people and with the vast opportunities we have, we don't have any reason, to have all the conflicts. So we are hoping that the reports, will be implementable. The framework will be drawn, and then a lot of stakeholders, that are supposed to be part of the implementation will key into it, and the bureaucratic bottlenecks that normally impede implementation of this kind of initiative must be looked at, and indeed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had given directive to all the ministries and ministers involved. Anyway, this is our focus this morning on Good Morning Nigeria. We will be talking very, very deeply, about the reforms in this sector, not just the ministry, but the reforms and what can be done and how it can be implemented. On this note, I gladly welcome you to the program. I am Claire Adelabu Abdurrazak, and it's been a while. I'm presenting with my sister today.
Yeah,
good to see you.
It's been a while. That's why I'm so relaxed, And I'm Jumo Yusuf. We're transmitting live on the network service of the NTA here in Abuja. And in the course of the program, as usual, we have our newspaper review. But for now, let's take the highlights of the morning news with Dennis Adegunle. Good morning, Dennis.
Good morning, Jume and Claire. Good morning, Nigeria. The administration of President Bola Tinubu is demonstrating commitment towards checking corruption and related matters in the public procurement processes with the setting up of a committee to review the Public Procurement Act. The decision from Wednesday's meeting of the Federal Executive Council is to give expression to the stand of the administration in ensuring probity, proficiency and diligence in the execution of federal projects.
The position of Council on Procurement Act is that it is long overdue for amendment. The last time it was touched was in 2007, and because of the changing dynamics, it is important that we bring these the content of the act, to be in tandem with the happenings in the society.
All the projects that we said will be stepped down does not mean that they are going to be thrown away. What council decision is that we'll bring them all, look at them again. Now the Minister of Budget, Minister of Finance, the Minister of Works will sit down and look at the projects again and reprioritize.
22 new judicial officers have been added to the bench of the Court of Appeal. Administering the oath of office on the new appellate court's justices, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwola, advised the judicial officers to dispense justice without fear or favor.
Today's ceremony is an indication of the perilous times that we are currently in, which has resulted in an upsurge in litigation. Several unfathomable crimes are being committed in this country, aside from the usual political matters that have made litigations to go on alarming rise.
And ahead of the planned population and housing census in Nigeria, the federal government has inaugurated a Census National Security and Logistics Committee to drive a hitch-free exercise. National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu, who is chairing the committee, assures of a safe environment for the headcount.
It is in the light of this and the desire to bequeath an enduring legacy of evidence-based planning for sustainable development that the conduct of the nation's population and housing census is of topmost priority to the administration of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
The Director General of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Brigadier General Buba Marwa, says there is no hiding place for illicit drug traffickers in Nigeria, as the agency has created 5 new strategic commands with body cameras for operational efficiency. The NDLEA boss stated this at a meeting with commanders of the agency in Abuja.
Diligence to maintain its integrity. We owe the public a duty to not betray the trust reposed in us. We cannot rest on our oars until all the objectives of our mandate are fully achieved.
Well, those are the news highlights for now. Good morning, Nigeria continues after this break with Claire and Jume. Good morning.